The world needs everything each and every one of us has, else we wouldn't have been created. We are all so necessary, and we're necessary at our highest, the highest version of ourselves, and so it's not really about comparison or
Yeah.
worrying about what it is or what it isn't or what it should be or what should you do, asking other people. It's really about doing the internal dialogue. What is it for me right now? And I think if we always go within to work things out instead of looking outside of ourselves, we'll be led and guided to our exact path that we need to be doing on this earth. And no one else knows it. So even when I teach, I tell people, I'm sharing my story so that you will be inspired. But I don't expect you to do everything that I'm doing. Like
Yeah.
every little thing, it's like you have to find out what works for you. And hopefully I give you enough tools that you can try a couple out and keep the ones that you like and toss the ones that you don't. But realize that this is a personal journey we have. And when we bring people into our lives, they're helping us. They're also challenging us in ways that we need to be challenged to grow and evolve. But it's all a process of us becoming the best version of ourselves. It's all a process of us truly enjoying life as us,
Yeah.
not anyone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is a great segue to the third fear. And if we could talk about this quickly, fear of change.
Oh, yeah. Well, the only constant thing in life is change. So I don't understand like why we fear it so much. But the only thing constant in life, everything in life changes. And we get into jobs, we get into relationships, even with ourselves. And you're like, I don't ever want to change. I always want to feel this. Well, the constant thing is you're going to feel sadness. You're going to feel pain in our own selves, and we're also going to feel it in our relationships, in our jobs. You're going to go through this ebb and flow. And the more you resist, what? The more it persists. So the more you're like, I don't want it, the more you're gonna feel it, and you're gonna have to breathe through it because it's just teaching you the lesson for peace. And that's the thing we all want, world peace. How does world peace happen? Well, it starts inside. How can you have peace? Stop resisting change. Because change is inevitable. It's gonna happen. And so when these things happen, we just asking the question, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to tell me? How is this leading me towards love? Because if love is all there is and fear is an illusion, then even the fearful stuff, even the hard stuff, even the seemingly bad thing is still a journey towards love. And that's what I truly believe.
Love it. Love it. And the final one, and again, there's so much more laid out in the book, but just to have this framework of these various fears. And I was actually surprised to see this one because I was kind of scanning before I even got to it. Because, sometimes your consciousness can jump ahead a little bit.
Right.
And so I was like thinking about what would the fourth one be? And then to see this one, I was surprised, but then it was like, yeah, this makes sense. So it's fear of being the first.
Yes. And if you've ever been the first in something, then you can really relate to this. But actually, we all are the first in something because we're the first version of ourselves. Even if you're a twin, you're the first version of yourself. And people are afraid to be first. That's why we're so afraid to be themselves. And that's an uncommon one. But I realized that after a lot of study, it's just like, if you think about it, you're like, if you're the first one to go to college, you're afraid because you don't have anyone to look at. You don't have a template to follow. So what do you have to do? You have to figure yourself out and you have to do the internal work. We are the first people. We are the first, in everything that we do because we are the one. So what does that take? Internal thinking and self-assessment, which is what the book is like. Just what are the top 10 things that you like? What are your goals? All that needs to happen on a weekly basis, even on a daily basis sometimes when you're changing a lot. But I think the fear of being first is what holds most people back. They're looking for an example that they can follow, that they can latch on to. They say, okay, if this worked for them, then it can work for me. And that's beautiful. It's very beautiful to be inspired. And it's very beautiful to look on social media and look online and have inspirations. But again, inspirations, not necessarily a template, because unless you realize that, there are going to be some differences. And I think when people are afraid to be the first at something, it holds them back. They're like me, like I'm a perfectionist. So perfectionist breeds procrastination, and you never put it out there because you think, I want it just like this. It has to be, I have to say the perfect thing and I have to look perfect and everything has to be perfect. And until it's perfect, I can't do it. And you're just holding back all that beauty from the world, all the beauty of who you really are, all the beauty of what you can really do because you're trying to be perfect or you're trying to be like someone else. But if you're not trying to be perfect and you're not trying to be like someone else, then you will not have the fear of being first. You will go forth knowing that the world needs exactly what you have, exactly the way you have to share it. Whether it's quirky or funny or weird or loud or soft or whatever, the world needs it just like that because, as you said before, someone can relate to it. And then someone will be inspired to be their quirky, unique, amazing self. And I think that's what, the fear of being first is all about, is just not being afraid to be you.